Hey art people, welcome to episode 8 of Drawing Inner Strength. 8 episodes in! Today's good news is amazing. A group of South African doctors have made huge progress in international medicine. Using 3D printing, they were able to successfully complete the first ever middle ear transplant and cure deafness. Like, how awesome is that? Can you imagine? So I think lots of cool things are going to happen with that. Hopefully we'll continue to hear more about it because that is insane. So today, remember from the last video, we have shortened this drawing quite a bit, and we won't have to worry about drawing a shirt anymore, which means that I can move into adding the last step to this drawing, which is the words and background. This part I am gonna do in pencil first because placing the words is gonna take some planning. I'm thinking they'll start here, and as I've said, they're gonna become straight lines. So I'll also need my ruler. And before I start that, I wanna talk again a little bit more about like what these words will be representing and how I'm choosing them. So the inspiration for this came from all the news and just, life in general, with racism and the Black Lives Matter movement. And I was really struggling with myself and whether or not I wanted to put my feelings about all of that into art. And I've always done that, but I've always kind of done it from a more impersonal point of view because obviously there's been a lot of hurt in my life surrounding those topics, but I've never wanted to quote people who have said awful things to me or put those awful things into my work because I didn't want to feel like I was giving power to those words or surrendering to those feelings or representing them in any way. I've always wanted to focus more on overcoming those words and not how those words have hurt me. But with everything going on, I've kind of revisited my stance on that and felt like I need to acknowledge that those things happen and it's hurtful, and that even though they suck, they've become a part of my life, and there's a part of who I am that's built from the tolerance that I've had to build to hearing those kind of things and not just like breaking down. And so that's what this is about. The first couple phrases I have, they suck. But I have these two in cursive and this one in print, and they're crooked. I need to use my ruler. I am still having a hard time deciding if I want to do cursive or print, so I'm gonna just weigh the two in my head right now and make a decision. So if it's print, it's easier to read, which makes it a little more powerful and harsh because cursive is pretty and print is just blam, there it is. Cursive is pretty and fits the aesthetic more and is easier to flow into the lines that I'm gonna make, but also it's a little harder to read because it's stylized and it takes away some of the meanness. And even though, so cursive is prettier, so it meshes more with the aesthetic, but since these words are like supposed to be harshing like the vibe, it might be better for them to be print because they won't mesh. And the whole point is that we have had to sort of adapt and just get used to these like clashing things in our lives. We don't make them part of our lives because they suck, but we learn how to deal with them. They're obstacles. So I think, all that being said, I'm gonna do print. So I'll have to erase those top two, and I'm going to try to make it not look like my handwriting, but more like a Times New Roman type thing or something. But I think that that's the right decision. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. It will be too late by then, but I'd still like to know. the phrases that I'm picking are things that I've overheard and things that I've experienced, so it varies a lot. There's, it's like not fun to talk about, but like there's the feeling that you get when you're trying to share your experience with someone or tell them about like why things are so sucky, like why things are so hard, and you get that kind of like dismissive response, like, oh, it's not so bad, like things aren't as bad, you need to stop thinking about it, like not everyone is like that. And there's also, so that's one of the phrases that I kind of picked, and then the other ones that have stuck with me are like being younger and people saying hurtful things like in school and stuff, like saying, like making racist jokes or like saying racist things, not to you, but like when they know you're listening, just to try to get a reaction out of you. And it makes you like bristle and it makes you like tense up, and it's awful because you don't know how to respond. Like you can't respond without getting angry, and then if you're angry, you're the mad black woman. But then also it's like you want to defend yourself, but then you're at a loss because you're like, well, why do I have to, what is there to defend? There's nothing wrong. So I've incorporated some of those jokes that I've overheard, and even it's like, this is why I never really incorporated them before, because I didn't want them to be part of my work, but I feel now that it's important because I don't want to keep downplaying it or be part of like, it's just like a reality that I think needs to be acknowledged. So there's a lot of that stuff. All of that is going to be here, and like I've said, some of it will hit the subject and some of it will pass over and some of it will go behind, and that's because sometimes, I never really know what to expect. Sometimes I think, oh, whatever, and I just brush it off, and sometimes I can't, like some of it just sticks with me for days. Like actually another phrase that I absolutely have to incorporate is like, do you want me to hold that for you? Because I have a very vivid memory of going to like a gaming and like toy store that was in a mall in Virginia. I don't think it's there anymore, actually. I think it might have closed, but I found a Mass Effect Monopoly game, and I was so psyched because I love Monopoly and I love Mass Effect. And I was holding it and I was walking around looking for other stuff to buy, like customers do. And one of the sales reps came up to me and she was like, oh, do you want me to hold that for you? And I was like, okay, sure. And I thought it was weird, but I was like, well, maybe that's just their store policy. And then I looked around and realized that no one else had to put their stuff behind the counter. Everyone else was still holding their things. And I was kind of like really uncomfortable. I just wanted to get out of there, so I just like went and bought the game and left. And that really sucked because it was like a lose-lose situation. It was either I bought the game, which I did, and kind of regretted for the rest of the week because I was like, well, now I've given money to people who just accused me of stealing or attempting to steal. But I got the game I wanted. But on the other hand, my only other option was just to leave without it and then know that they were all like, I knew she wasn't going to buy it. So it's like, just awful things like that, and then they just stack up and just stick with you forever and make you feel uncomfortable when you shouldn't have to. And now with the lines all done, all I have to do is line the border with this 8 micron pen, and I'm also going to go across the face with a 5. Okay, so that is the end of this drawing. It's finished. It took 8 full episodes, but I got it to be exactly where I want it to be. So it was a lot of back and forth. You were with me for the decision about print versus cursive, but I think that print ended up working out really well in the end. I'd be lying if I said like halfway through I was wondering if I made the right decision, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that. But it's done and I love it. So I will take a nice picture of this and put it on my Instagram sometime this week, probably tomorrow, but yay, it's done. So this is the first time I've done a series of videos where I just started completely with a blank page and then went all the way from start to finish. So things that I learned from it, it's definitely harder to think on your feet when there's a camera recording, so there were a few mistakes that I just kind of had to work with instead of just starting over, like some of the jawline and then, you know, like doing print versus cursive, stuff like that. But overall, I really liked doing it, and it was actually pretty cool talking through the process and like sharing that with everyone. So I definitely want to keep doing it. So let me know what you think of the drawing. Let me know what you've thought of this series as a whole and of this video. Leave some comments, like it, whatever. And thank you again so much for watching. I'll see you next time.